Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Ask Rebecca radio show. Thanks for joining me. Whew, where to begin? I have been off air for the entire month of July, pretty much, due to multiple reasons. One, I was supporting my dad with his health, so thank you to everyone that reached out. Everything went fine. He is in good shape, so we are good to go on that front. Then our Wi-Fi internet cable was damaged and needed to be replaced, which ended up taking 2 weeks. So that had me out again. And then I was going through some more grieving over the loss of my son last year. And those of you who have lost loved ones, you know it's a process and you never know when you're going to get triggered or when another layer of sadness is going to come up to be dealt with. And in my case, I was introduced to some new people. And during the process of getting to know one another, the inevitable question came up on whether or not I had any children. Well, in the last year, I haven't ever been asked that question since most of the people I interact with know me and they know what happened. So in that moment, I panicked and I panicked as into how should I answer the question? And do I just lie and say no to avoid the awkward conversation and the uncomfortable situation? Or do I just tell the truth and deal with my own discomfort and those who are asking? Well, those of you that know me, you know I'm a firm believer in the truth, no matter how bitter, and lies and deception not only hurt other people, but us in the long term too. So I told the truth and proceeded to basically ramble and blurt out about how he died. And it just came out really awkward and uncomfortable, and I was rambling, and it was just due to the fear of, would they ask me how it happened? And, most likely people aren't going to ask you, well, how did your son die? That's not typically a question that someone would ask. But in that moment, because of my own feelings of being awkward and uncomfortable with it, I just was like, I'm going to blurt out everything and just say it all. That way, everything is out. And basically, long story short, it was so awkward and uncomfortable for all involved. After the encounter, I ended up taking a deep dive into my head, my heart, my emotions, my motivations, my reaction, and just sorted through everything that I experienced in that 10-minute conversation, along with the realization that there was a deeper layer of grief to work through that maybe I hadn't thought was there. I don't know. Either way, it was triggered, it came up. And those of you struggling with grief, there's no easy way around those intense emotions. And, you just have to kind of face them, because running and hiding from them or putting your whole being into the emotions by not being able to move on will keep you stuck in a continuous cycle of suffering. So it's always better to kind of just let these things come up, let yourself heal with them. And so, through that process, I kind of put everything on the back burner in my life. And then speaking of deep dives, I've also been experiencing extreme downloads of information that this reality is very much run by the beast system. And there is so much deception happening on a mass scale to manipulate the minds, the hearts, and the souls of God's people. And it is nearly impossible to fathom or understand the depth of the deceit fully. It is truly terrifying when you wake up to that reality. It's taken me weeks to process, and I'm still processing and sorting through the information that I've received. This is also why that I've been missing in action. I've basically was in shock, and I had to process a lot of this information that I was receiving. And the quickest and easiest explanation that I can give you at this point is the following. And no doubt some of you will think I have lost my mind or gone off the deep end, and so be it if that is what you decide. But my faith and my trust is in the relationship that I have with God, and I've trusted my journey and my life, my experience thus far with his guidance and support. So for me, there's no reason to believe otherwise. So I'm going to share with you what I've interpreted, and you decide for yourself. You do your own research and you sort through it the way that I needed to sort through these things. And I'm only giving you a partial of the information that I've received because it's so deep, it's so complicated, and it's so much, it's really difficult to kind of put it into words and to really explain it in my 30-minute show here. So basics. The separation of God's people and Satan's people is becoming clearer every day. This is all part of the ascension and the harvest process. And harvest is, the term that's used in the Bible, and ascension is the term that's used more along the spiritual community. It's really a time where you need to look at which side do you support in your faith, your soul, words, actions, and energy. Are you a seeker of God's truth, or only your truth, or the version of truth that's being fed to you by others? And you must unplug from the matrix, right? And really discern for yourself. And matter of fact, speaking of the matrix, it wouldn't hurt for some of you to go back and watch the movie Matrix for some truths that are hidden in plain sight. And I've discussed this before, that there is a spiritual war happening between good, Team God, and bad, Team Satan and Lucifer. And my interpretation of what I've received from God and what I've been guided to for validation is that Satan and Lucifer are two separate energies. That's the easiest way that I could describe it, that have been battling each other for dominance over this earthly plane in order to enslave God's children. And the best representation that of these two energies at play currently to create separation, to enslave you into this beast system, for example, are Democrats versus Republicans, masks versus no mask, Black Lives Matters versus All Life Matters. Have you considered there's a third, fourth, or fifth option? You are being deceived into believing you only have one of two choices that need to be fought over to the death, because that's what's happening. It's turning everyone into a nasty human being. I mean, we're fighting amongst ourselves. It's just crazy to witness this happening out in public and with people around. These two energies were working together behind the scenes, right? They were working together to enslave humanity, but now the Satan energy is trying to gain total control. And God is allowing these two negative energies to battle each other for power and control. And whatever energy wins, along with God's children who were deceived into worshiping this false God, knowingly or unknowingly, because you chose not to seek the truth, or who have been nasty humans fighting each other with words and weapons, will be wiped out by God, like in the days of Noah. Okay, he's cleaning house completely, but before he does, he will save those of us who put our faith and trust in him. And those of us who didn't fall into the deception of the Antichrist, and those of us who worked at changing for the better, FYI, also, the Antichrist is already here. And there are big plans to deceive humanity into believing he is the Messiah returning. They've been working on this for a very long time. Obviously, I don't have an exact timeline. I'm only human, and I'm interpreting this information. But the way that the way that I feel it's been happening is they've been pumping his image to the masses since the day you were born and before. And this truth may seem completely unbelievable and may trigger you immensely, but don't take my word for it. Again, check in with God yourself for validation, do your own research. But I'm going to tell you, the image that I'm talking about is the one that you've come to know as Jesus. But that is not the real image of Jesus, just the one that has been presented to you by Satan. Lastly, Trump is not your savior. Q is not your savior. Biden is not your savior. The government is not your savior, and neither are celebrities, the media, the military, or any other organization set up by the powers to be who you have never met or know personally. They hide, and they are all worshipers of Satan and Lucifer. And the people and organizations that I mentioned are just puppets on strings being manipulated by their God, not ours. And when I talk about the military and people that work in these organizations, I'm not talking about God's children that have signed up to fight for their country. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people at the top, the people that you don't know and that you don't see. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So you just have to open your eyes. They do not hide it at all. They don't hide it. You just have to open your eyes to see the symbols they use, the music that they play, and the words that they say. Go watch a Billie Eilish music video and tell me they aren't pumping Satanism to the youth. She's just one of many. Open your eyes, pay attention. If you believe these people over God, you are putting your trust and faith into the system designed by the ultimate deceiver, Satan, Lucifer. Even his image has been distorted for public manipulation. Lucifer is an angel, right? He's an angel, and he's a beautiful angel and a powerful one at that. And he isn't some grotesque monster with horns. That's what they're telling you. Because if that showed up in your living room, of course you're going to know that's the devil and he's there to deceive you, right? But if a beautiful angel shows up, well, he can reveal himself in any form. So they even show you that with their TV series called Lucifer. Again, the truth is hidden in plain sight because that is what is demanded by the true God. Lucifer can only keep you if you willingly give up your free will to him, and he's going to trick you with love, light, kindness, or any means necessary, just like he did in the Garden of Eden with Eve. So the greatest challenge that we are all facing currently is mastering discernment. And I'm serious about this, and I know this might be triggering some people, but do your research into it for yourself. Talk to God. Seek the truth. Okay, that's all I can tell you. Okay, now that I've updated you with what's been happening with me, let's do a quick moment of Zen before I get into the intuitive messages for the month and the week. And this moment of Zen is to help guide you to the truth and to open up your natural gift of discernment from God. So close your eyes and allow yourself to be open to receive directly from source, directly from God, the divine, whatever your terminology is. And this will help raise your vibration, expand your consciousness, and increase your awareness in order to help prepare you and your soul for ascension, and especially discernment. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, relaxing as much as possible, and I'll let you know when to open your eyes. All right, let's open our eyes. Okay, let's get into what you can expect for the month of August, and then from today, August 4th, through to August 11th as an overall theme, and then areas of love, work, finances, health, and spirituality. General themes for the month. Oh, and before I get into that, one thing I'd like to bring up really quickly is connected to a natural separation that's happening between people. Do not resist this separation that's occurring. This is God putting you on a different path for your highest good or getting you out of harm's way. The energies right now are extremely intense, and I have had several people I personally know be physically assaulted by people they know and love and trust. This is not the time to turn a blind eye or excuse verbal threats being made by people, and it's not the time to not listen to your intuition or your gut telling you it's time to leave a negative situation. And definitely do not confront anyone who is hostile. I've had way too many people in the last several weeks while I've been off air violently assaulted to the point of nearly losing their lives. And I'm serious about this You guys know that I'm not a fear monger, but the energies are off the charts right now, and people are behaving in a very erratic manner. And I'm sure you're seeing it in your local news and places like that. So please don't confront people in those situations and trust your gut. I'd also like to mention that I will be starting a fundraiser for a client of mine who is in her early 30s and a single mom battling terminal cancer. She's currently undergoing chemo and radiation. However, the fundraiser is to be able to seek alternative therapies like immunotherapy and some other alternative methods to go along with the normal course of treatment that she's undergoing right now. She is fighting for her life and will try anything in fear of leaving her young son behind without any parents. So she's willing to try anything and everything. And I will be posting a link everywhere on my social media and through my weekly newsletter once I get this fundraiser going for her. I know times are financially trying for many. Anything you can give, even if it's $1, or just sharing the fundraiser with others that you know would be greatly appreciated. Anything that you can do. Again, if you can't support monetarily, when you see it come across your path, if you can share the message or the fundraiser, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, here's a brief overview for the month of August. We have so many planets in retrograde, and we have Mars joining the party in September, but you are already feeling these energies with each passing day. And the further we get into this month, the stronger those energies are going to be. This month will pretty much be like the other months and the rest of this year, with not a lot of forward movement in our lives, but more of an internal movement. You'll be adjusting to this new normal that we're living in and the major changes that have been happening in the world and in your personal life. Things will be a little awkward, a little uncomfortable as you navigate your new way of being, and things will also be changing quickly. So we'll have more drama in the world. Right before I saw earlier today, there was an explosion in Beirut. I mean, things are happening, and as you're tackling things that come up in your life, it will be quick, it will be continuous, and the adjustments are just going to have to happen. The Leo energies will be bringing in lots of creative energy to inspire you to work on projects, to have some fun and enjoy hobbies or connect deeper with your own talents. So there's a positive aspect to this month. I would say maybe more the beginning of the month. But if I'm being 100% honest with you, it's going to be a rough month. The rest of this year is just challenging. That's what I can tell you. Attention to detail and remaining focused could be a struggle this month. The downside to this month are power struggles, ego, pride, misunderstandings, and feelings of being disoriented. There are clashing, intense energies that, again, cause some really negative behaviors to explode. And by the middle to late in the month, you may be feeling lazy, unmotivated, and procrastinating more than usual, or you could be seeing obstacles keeping you stuck. Most of this month, and really, like I said, the rest of this year is about inaction and more about evaluating, contemplating, assessing, and figuring out your goals, your business plan, life plan, relationship plans, and the future. It's all about working on yourself. You've got to get right within yourself, and you've got to get right with God. And there will be some action, but you will need to really evaluate if now is the time to do anything new, because the energies are so volatile, it will be hit or miss. High emotions and drama are more likely this month. You could be impulsive or reckless or feel distracted or witness this in others. So you could be on the receiving end and you could be on the giving end. This month is also about, again, mastering yourself and getting your house in order. You're learning to balance work and home life in a new way. You could also say or do something you regret this month. Work on looking deeper at yourself to see where you are in denial about things or deceiving yourself. Stress levels will be high. Unexpected stressful situations can arise this month. Work on your spirituality and relationship with God. Things that you believed may be proven to be false, and it can rock your world big time. Nurture and take care of your physical body. Work on learning coping mechanisms and stress relief skills. They are going to come in very handy. You may be doing investigative work or researching, learning, and educating yourself. You could be seeking the truth or studying psychology. Lots of energies around the head, so you could be overthinking and overanalyzing. It's all good. Just sort through it all. This is a time of studying yourself, studying the world. This is a time of learning and, enjoy this kind of stagnation. It's hard because we're a society that's used to go, 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 but that's not what we're supposed to be doing. It's not what we were supposed to be doing ever. But anyway, physical ailments could come up connected to reproductive organs, the bladder, the genitals. Deep emotional issues that have been buried could surface. There are positives as well, like some success in different areas of your life or major breakthroughs. Your intuition may be higher, and you may become more aware of your own energy and what you're putting out there. It's going to be somewhat of a tough month energetically that will need to be navigated consciously and carefully. And that's what's happening. That is what God's preparing you. Okay. I know it all seems so blah, but this is the reality of what is happening now. And you must work on yourself. And God is putting forth these challenges to see what you do. Choose wisely. All right, this week, general themes. Some of you will be taking a look at where you're going and why. There's movement happening externally for some and internally for most. The external movement you could see is moving homes or jobs. This energy also has a pushy forcefulness to it, so you could find this manifesting in yourself or others. You may or someone around you may have a change of heart or mind about a situation. Purpose and focus will be your friend this week. Otherwise, you could be spinning in circles and making yourself crazy. This week, the energies also point to jumping to conclusions and making hasty judgments. This can and will affect your decision-making process. Really think things through before taking action. It's also about giving people chances, but like I said, be careful with who you give chances to, especially those that you've given multiple chances to that keep doing the same thing over and over again. With this judgment energy, you may also become triggered by other people because you feel they are judging you. They are just showing you where you judge yourself, where you yourself judge others, and what false beliefs you have about yourself. Work on this. It's important because in the end, you're going to be judged on how hard you tried to resolve judgment within yourself, okay? Remember, someone judging you is their problem, not yours. You can't change someone else. You can just change yourself by using your free will to choose not to get sucked into the negativity and mastering your own judgments. Work, for those of you employed. I feel some of you are being watched and judged at work. I do feel there are several companies evaluating people on who will be the next round of layoffs due to financial preservation of the companies themselves. You or a coworker could be forcing or pushing ideas, expectations, or speed on others. This won't go over well. Try not to be a bull in a china shop. And if someone is projecting on you, do your best to not add to the drama or confront the situation. Like I said, the energies right now are really volatile. Those of you that are looking for a job, I feel like there are some jobs out there to be had, but I'm not necessarily feeling a lot of hiring with the exception of some. I've seen a few ads for those of you that are in the Orlando area, the Florida area, with Lego Land. I think they were looking to hire. Love, those of you that are in committed relationships and dating seriously. With the push-pull energy, hold on, I'm trying to multitask here. Okay. Whoops, there I am. Okay, with the push-pull energy, I do feel like some of you may be excited about a relationship and will want to push things or rush things along. Don't, it will work against you and it makes you come across as needy and clingy, which is unattractive to most people. The other side of this energy is that some of you may be pushing to get out of a relationship. Take your time making the decision because again, there's that hasty energy. Think things through before you just break up and then have nowhere to go, right? Especially if you're living together. Either way, get clarity and make a plan. Those of you looking for love, Not too much here except for self-work. I feel some of you need to take a look at your dating and relationship history to see what type of person that you are attracting to and, excuse me, what type of person you're attracted to and what type of person you are attracting to you. You are the common denominator in all of your successful and failed relationships. You choose them just as much as they choose you. So I feel like there needs to be a sober evaluation of maybe what your insecurities are, what your baggage is, what your hangups are, and where you're self-sabotaging and maybe accepting less than, right? You need to take a look at self-worth things, because if you're accepting people that are liars, cheaters, deceivers, narcissists, ego-based individuals, you got to take a look at why you accept that in your life. So you've got to dig deep and work through those things. In the area of finances, money and contracts could be headed your way. Caution with speeding or texting and driving. I do see a few of you paying a ticket or getting a fine related to breaking a driving law. Could even be a parking ticket. Some of you will be working on a plan to improve your financial situation, maybe even seeking professional help. Health. Some of you will be feeling really energized to exercise, switch up your nutrition. There is a caution with not pushing yourself too hard because I see minor sprains and strains. And I also see many working on letting go of past wrongs or pain from your past that you still place blame. This is tied to emotional health. It's affecting you physically. Remember, it takes two to make or break a relationship. Spirituality. It's a very spiritual time. You may be exploring different beliefs, spirituality, or other forms of religion. The main object is you are searching for the truth, which unfortunately is spread far and wide and not in one place. Remember, the truth also exists within you. All you have to do is seek truth from God, and He will guide you. Be open to new ideas, and do not put all your trust into people or organizations. Get right with God, trust yourself and your intuition. That wraps up this week's intuitive messages. I'm sending you all lots of love. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.